Never answer a voice that calls your name when you're alone, no matter how familiar it sounds. One night he stayed up late in his small apartment, scrolling on his phone while the city outside went quiet. Then he heard it. Mark, soft, close, from inside the room. He froze, thinking it was just his imagination. But then it came again, clearer this time. His mother's voice, the same gentle tone she used when he was a child. "Mark, come here." His heart pounded. His mother lived miles away. He slowly stood, following the sound toward his dark hallway. With each step, the air felt colder, heavier, like the silence was watching him. The voice led him to the bathroom door. It was slightly open. "Mark," it whispered again, now trembling, almost desperate. He pushed the door open. The bathroom was empty. Then the whisper came from behind him, right beside his ear. "You weren't supposed to turn around." The next morning, neighbors reported hearing Mark talking all night, answering someone. But when police checked his apartment, they found him alone, standing in the hallway, facing the wall, still whispering back. Never try this alone, especially if the elevator stops on a floor that doesn't exist. Daniel, a quiet night guard who loved testing urban legends. One rainy night, bored and curious, he stepped into the old building's elevator and pressed the exact sequence he found online. The doors closed. Floor 2, 5, 1, 7. Each stop felt colder than the last. The lights flickered. When the elevator finally reached the last number, the doors opened to a silent hallway that wasn't part of the building. No lights, no sound, just darkness. And a woman standing at the end of the hall facing away. Daniel remembered the rule. Do not speak to her. Do not look back. His hands shook as he slammed the close door button. The doors shut, but just before they sealed, the woman's voice whispered from right beside his ear. "Daniel, why did you come back again?" The elevator returned to the lobby. The next morning, security cameras showed something impossible. Daniel never entered the building that night, so if an elevator ever opens to a floor that shouldn't exist, never try to balance a chair on two legs when you're alone in a rental house, especially if it starts moving on its own. Leo, a young man who moved into a cheap rental at the end of a quiet street. The house felt normal at first, just old with creaky floors and one wooden chair left behind in the corner of the living room. One night, bored and scrolling through urban legends, Leo read about a game. Balance a chair on two legs at midnight, stare at it, and wait. Something unseen will sit with you. He laughed and tried it. The chair tilted, wobbled, then slowly steadied. Leo smiled until it leaned back further, as if someone heavy had just settled into it. Then he heard a soft whisper behind him. "Why are you looking at my seat?" The next morning, the landlord unlocked the door after complaints of noise. Inside, the chair stood perfectly balanced, and Leo was sitting in it. Still. Don't ever answer someone who sounds exactly like you when you're alone. Evan lived by himself. Quiet apartment, thin walls, the kind of place where every sound feels personal. One night, while brushing his teeth, he heard his name whispered from the hallway. Same voice, same tone. His voice. Evan laughed it off, urban legend nonsense, and answered back. The smile came first. In the mirror behind him, something stood where he should have been, wearing his face too perfectly, lips stretched in a smile that didn't blink. It spoke before Evan could scream, finishing his sentences, recalling memories only he should know. By morning, Evan's neighbors waved at him as usual. They never noticed his smile was just a little too wide. So tell me, if it knew everything about him, how do you know it's not already learned you? The fog waved back. I was on night watch when the radar lit up with a ship that shouldn't exist. No transponder, no response. Just drifting beside us in the black water, like it had been waiting. The captain told me to ignore it. Old legends, he said. Lost ships show up on bad nights. I wish I had listened. I grabbed my flashlight and looked over the rail. The ship was close enough to touch. Rusted hull, torn sails, name scratched out like someone didn't want it remembered. Then I saw him. A man stood on the deck, a seafarer, barefoot, soaking wet. He smiled at me in a way that made my stomach drop. Too wide, too calm, like he knew something I didn't. He raised his hand and waved. I waved back before I realized I shouldn't. The ocean went dead silent. Our engines cut out. The radio screen was static and voices whispering coordinates I recognized. Ours. When I looked again, the ship was gone. So was our reflection in the water. The captain shouted for a head count. Everyone was there, except the man standing beside me, dripping seawater onto the deck, still smiling, because the lost ship wasn't passing us. It was picking up its last crew member. Would you have waved back or jumped into the ocean to escape him? I watched him blink once after midnight. I worked nights at a closed office park, the kind with dead fountains and cameras that hum like flies. The security guard does his rounds every hour, boots crunching gravel, flashlight swinging slow. He never talks, just nods and keeps moving. Last night, he stopped outside my booth and stared straight past me, like he was counting something behind my head. I waved. He didn't react. His radio crackled with a voice that sounded like it was underwater. At 2:13 a.m., the motion sensor tripped by Building C. I watched the monitor as the guard walked into frame, lifted his light and froze. The picture fuzzed, then cleared. The hallway was empty. The guard was gone. My phone buzzed, an alert from the city archives I'd been skimming to stay awake. Urban legend, night watcher, a guard who died on shift, cited hourly, disappears at 2:13. Boots crunched behind me. I turned, relieved, and saw his badge up close, rusted and stamped with today's date, because the guard wasn't on patrol anymore. He was checking in on me. If a security guard clocks in every night after he dies, who exactly is supposed to clock out? She was already climbing out of the well. I was hiking alone when the trail vanished into trees I didn't remember entering. My phone had no signal, just the time blinking 11:47 p.m. That's when I saw the old stone well, half collapsed, mossy, hidden like it didn't want to be found. Someone was crying, a girl's voice thin and wet, begging for help. I leaned over the edge. Long black hair floated up first, then pale hands gripping the stones. She wore a white dress, soaked and clinging to her like skin. Her face stayed hidden behind her hair. "I fell," she whispered. "Please." Every urban legend I'd ever heard screamed at me to run, but I reached down anyway. Her skin was ice cold, too cold. When I pulled, she didn't climb. She glided up, unnaturally smooth, until her feet touched the ground. The forest went silent. No insects, no wind. She finally lifted her head. Her face looked exactly like the missing women 100 years ago. Same eyes, same scar on the chin, same fear. She smiled, stepped past me, and walked toward the trail, now clearly visible again. My phone buzzed with full signal. Behind me, the well started crying, and that's when I realized I was the one wearing the wet white dress. If you found an old well in the forest at night, would you trust the voice asking for help, or walk away knowing it might already be too late? I heard a baby laugh behind me. It was past midnight when my car died on a 2-lane road outside town. No signal, no houses, just an old bus stop shed with a flickering light. I grabbed my flashlight and jogged toward it, rain soaking my shoes. That's when I heard crying. A baby, soft, desperate. Inside the shed sat a bundled infant on the bench, face turned away. No stroller, no bag. My stomach twisted. I stepped closer and asked if anyone was there. The crying stopped. The baby slowly turned its head and smiled. Too wide, gums gray, eyes black and wet. A giggle slipped out, high and wrong. My flashlight shook and pointed past it. Behind the shed, hanging from the road sign, was a swollen body swaying gently. A woman, long hair, hotel uniform. I remembered the story locals told, about a maid who vanished after a murder in a roadside hotel. They said she waits for rides. They said she leaves something behind. The baby crawled toward me, still smiling, and I finally understood. I wasn't the first driver to stop, just the next one to hold it. If you saw a crying baby alone at a bus stop after midnight, would you pick it up? I heard giggling before the body started to spin. I was working the night shift at a budget hotel off the interstate, the kind with flickering hallway lights and carpets that never feel dry. Everyone knows the urban legend. Room 417. Years ago, a man was found hanging in the bathroom after killing his wife there. Management says it's just a rumor. They still rent the room. Around 2:13 a.m., a guest called the front desk, whispering that someone was standing in his bathroom. I grabbed the master key and went up alone. The hallway was silent except for a soft giggle leaking from behind the door of 417. When I opened it, the room smelled like old water and metal. The bathroom light was on. The shower curtain moved slowly, like someone breathing behind it. I pulled it back. There was a body hanging from the shower rod, feet inches off the tub, face swollen, eyes open. Then it started to rotate. The rope creaked. The head twisted too far, snapping into place, and the dead man's mouth stretched into a wide, playful smile. A childlike giggle bubbled out as his eyes locked onto mine. That's when I realized the face wasn't old at all. It was my reflection, smiling back at me. If you heard giggling in your hotel bathroom tonight, would you check the shower curtain? He was smiling under my bed. I woke up at 2:17 a.m. because my phone buzzed with an emergency alert test. Annoyed, I rolled over and heard breathing that wasn't mine. Slow, wet, happy. I live alone in a small apartment, the kind with thin walls and bad locks. I told myself it was the AC. Then I saw muddy footprints leading from my front door straight to my bedroom. I grabbed my phone and quietly turned on the camera, angling it toward the floor. The screen showed an old man crouched halfway under my bed. His back was bent wrong, like he'd been folded there for hours. He was bald, dirty, and grinning so wide his cheeks trembled. I froze. He whispered my name. I tried to scream, but he raised one finger to his lips and mouth. "Don't look at me." The police arrived fast, too fast. They searched every room, closets, bathroom, under the bed. Nothing. They told me there was no sign of forced entry, no footprints, no old man. After they left, I checked my phone to calm down until I saw the video had uploaded itself to my cloud. The last frame wasn't the man under my bed. It was him smiling behind me in the reflection of my phone screen. So be honest, when was the last time you checked what's hiding in your room right now?